My thoughts on Valhalla after playing for, I would say I've actively played the game for at least 30 hours at this point. And I've been basically AFK playing the game for at least, if you add all of my playtime hours up in the game, it's at least 150 probably now. So, yeah. I think that this game is actually good, like straight up. So it's an MMO that can be played on both PC and mobile, which is gonna turn a lot of people off in the MMO community. But at the end of the day, believe it or not, a lot of the MMO experiences that I'm used to, like in Black Desert Online, you have like that half of it is like over half of it is like an AFK experience, where it's a long-term grindy MMO where like you have longer scale progression over time, and it's not just one of the, I don't know, it's not like Bejeweled in a mobile game in that regard, right? Like it's not just like short like satisfaction over time and whatever. This is like your character gets stronger over time, and again you get to play with a lot of other people. Okay, so the progression itself. So there's, as usual in any MMO, there's white, green, blue, purple, and yellow grade gear. But in this MMO, I'm gonna tell you right now, the blue and like the purple and like the yellow and the orange stuff is a lot rarer than in the other MMOs. Bro, like every other MMO I've played, blue is like, okay, yeah, you know, like everybody's gonna be wearing blue gear. It is what it is. Purples are like, all right, those are getting a little bit rare, but honestly, at the, like, you know, once you're at max level, you're, especially in like World of Warcraft, everybody's wearing purple gear all the time. Everybody just gets raid gear all the time. No big deal, right? In this game, at least so far, because it just launched in the West, gear is sparse and very difficult to find. So are the skins and the pet skins, which are also like the morphs and the avatars is what they're called. Or are they mounts and avatars, not morphs? Mounts and avatars. So the avatars are basically the skins. Okay. And the drop rate for these things is absolutely insane, but we'll get into that a little bit later. As far as the progression goes, again, I'm this far into the game, and I'm really nervous to enhance any of my green gear because there's a chance that it could destroy itself upon trying to enhance it. So like you lose everything, right? So like again, grindy MMO. So I have everything at the highest possible enhancement level before it can break, which is +5. But then I haven't gone any further after that point. So you have to get like duplicates of the gear and have backups and try to click it over and over and over again. Fortunately, it's quite easy to get backups. It's quite easy to try to go out and get your gear, like, because you can auto grind, which is kind of a turn off. We'll talk about that in a second. But like, again, you can see I don't even have earrings yet. And like I said, I have like 150 hours in the game. I don't even have a set of earrings. I've legitimately not gotten one. So it is what it is. I think the gear is a little rare, but it kind of depends on where you grind. And as you kind of get into the game, you should transition into green gear relatively quickly. Blue gear is going to be a lot harder and definitely a little bit more expensive, no question. And then enhancing your blue gear is even more hard because you need duplicates of it, otherwise it blows up. And then again, purple's like, oh my god, that's literally insane. Okay, let's talk about like early impressions of the game. Character select. There is a boob slider. W. There is a boob slider in this game, which is a big win. It's not as... The boob slider isn't like crazy good in that like you can like not like BDO where you have like 3 different shapes and stuff, but like, you know, you make your boobs bigger, you can make your thighs bigger, you can make your waist bigger. Overall, the character creator is pretty good. I wouldn't give it any like standing ovation or anything, but like I felt like I got to have a relatively custom character in the proportions that I kind of wanted, right? And then they hand you, if you're worried about not having like a really attractive skin, I wouldn't worry about that too much because again, they're going to give you one of this, like the really, really cool skins. Here, I'll show you. These are the avatars. They're going to give you one of these for free. This is the one they gave me for free for just getting through the tutorial and doing this stuff. And you see, this is a pretty attractive skin, right? But if you wear any of like the lower, like the white grade skins or like hobo rags, the green grade skins are barely better than hobo rags. The blue grade skins are getting a little bit better at least. But again, it's not until you hit purple that you're gonna, oh my goodness gracious, right? At the end of the day. And the reason we're talking about avatars and mounts during progression is because the avatars and the mounts absolutely add to the overall gear level that you have. So the game is pay to win, no question. So is every MMO, it seems like nowadays. But you can see on the left side of your screen, since I have a purple avatar, which I got on a ridiculously low percentage chance, I have a bunch of extra stats on my account. Now, the other players playing will eventually get to purple avatars, but I'll tell you right now, the purple one's really, really rare. We'll get into how rare in just a moment. But yeah, the mounts also give you like special upgrades and like more damage as well. And they are also super, super rare. I'll get into the... I don't have anything good above a green right now in terms of mounts, and we've pulled for a lot of mounts. We don't have anything above a green right now. So after you get through the character selector, you're gonna have to choose your class, and honestly you might have to choose your class first. I don't remember which one you necessarily have to choose first. So there's Dark Wizard Sorceress, Archmage Sorceress, Assassin Rogue, Sniper Rogue, Defender Warrior, Berserker Warrior, Saint Priest, and Paladin Priest. Basically the Priest is the healing class, the Warrior is the tank class, Rogue and Sork are DPS classes. The three Saint, Paladin, Sniper, Assassin, Archmage, and Dark Wizard are all female classes, gender locked. Defender and Berserker Warrior are both male classes, gender locked, which I understand gender locked classes can turn people off, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I don't think all that much for most people that play Korean MMOs. We're pretty used to this at this point. Either way, all of the classes look unique and fun, and there is the Holy Trinity, as far as I'm aware, of tank, healer, DPS, because there are dungeons in the game, which we will get into a little bit later. But moving past the classes, the tutorial was relatively easy, but it's the first time you're introduced to the autoplay system, which I think is the part of the game that I think turns the most people off. When traditional MMO players look at this and they see autoplay, they think, oh, it's a garbage game. But at the end of the day, you need to understand where Valhalla is coming from. Valhalla is a mobile and a PC game. So because of the autoplay feature, you can play on mobile idle a lot of time, okay, for a lot of time during the day when you're not even actively, your phone's away, whatever, you're not at your computer, or if you just go to the bathroom while you're at work, you can whip it out, handle some stuff, update your grinding, and then put your phone back away and keep going. Then when you get to the computer, you can run your dungeons, you can do active town quests, you could do, technically you can do AFK town quests too, but you'd have to come back to your computer to look at that as well. There's raids, there's open world PvP, there's large scale PvP, there's all kinds of things that you can do once you're back to the computer with your guild and stuff like this, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. The main story has taken me a significant amount of time to get through. Yes, I mean, I'll let you know when I finish it. It's still not done. It's still not done. I think that you could probably blast, if you were trying to blast through the main story, you could probably get it done in active gameplay hours if you were speed running all the dialogue and everything, which I'll be honest, you don't want to do. The voice acting in this game is absolutely incredible. Top notch S tier voice acting in the game. As far as the quest line itself goes, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. The quest line is not anything to write home about, but you kind of expect that in MMOs. They really don't have super great quest lines unless you're talking about like Final Fantasy or something like that, in which case, you know, the questing is why you play the game. But in Korean grind MMOs, we're typically not super focused on the main questline. A lot of people are skipping straight through the dialogue. I did try listening to a fair amount of it on my own while I was watching movies and stuff, and that's why it's taken me so long to try to get through the main story. And I'm getting to the end of it now. I'm getting pretty close to the end of it here. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could get through it in about 10 hours, maybe less. Maybe less. Like active playtime, maybe you could get through it in 5 if you were speed running everything. It's tough to say. It's taking me a lot longer though. I would say at least 10 hours probably to get through the main story. And you don't really want to sprint through it too badly, because mainly, I don't know, this is part of the fun of the game, is this autoplay feature, which now I'm going to circle back to again. The autoplay feature is, I think, very important for mobile users because you can play the game as actively or as inactively as you want, as I said before. Basically, it allows you to constantly be progressing, which is something that is really cool for MMOs in general. That's what I think draws MMO players in. And this is not like your traditional desktop MMO experience where, like, you know, constantly have to be locked in at your computer in order to play the game. No, it's just not what this is like. You kind of set up your AFK grinding, and then you just go AFK during the day, and then when you come back, you can do all your active stuff. You can play 24 hours active if you wanted to, but you know, that's typically not recommended. You're gonna have to sleep at some point, right? Final thoughts on autoplay. I actually find the autoplay feature actually pretty good, mainly because I can do a hands-off gaming experience. I can talk to chat a lot while I'm doing it. I can also, again, I can play on my iPad. It's not too stressful. But again, I do have to lock in for things like the bosses during the main story. You have to lock in for those. You're gonna have to lock in for that. You're also gonna have to lock in for PvP. There's no way, if you try to autoplay in PvP, you're probably gonna get rolled. And then dungeons, you're probably going to have to move around and reposition, especially if you're a DPS. But you technically could get away with autoplay if you were, if you're geared enough, you could do the autoplay in the dungeons too. The characters are obviously super hot, which we really like. That is true. Amazing, absolutely incredibly good character design. Almost everybody who's playing female characters for a reason. Let's just be honest here. They just look incredible. We looked at some of the mythic skins earlier as well. They have these really sexy outfits that you can wear, and then the mounts are super sick too. Now let's talk about, we'll move forward. We're going to talk about the skins, okay, or the avatars as they're called in this game. Okay, so the avatars I mentioned before, these are super rare. How rare are we talking blue? Well, let's talk about how rare. So when you pull, I'm going to call it pulls because that's what it's called in the gacha system. This is not a gacha system. This is just a gamba system. And this is kind of a negative aspect of the game, in my opinion. I think that these rates are so low with no pity system that it's like, oh my goodness. I'm going to explain how this works. When you buy 10 of these pull, how much are 10 of these worth? If I'm going to buy 10 of these, let's find the dollar amount for how much these are actually worth. So if I were to buy 10 of these, okay, 11 for 2,100 diamonds. Okay. So that's almost $20. That's almost $20. So it's a little less than $20 for 10 pulls. So it's $2 a pull, and to pull these up. And to be clear, so again, I think that these drop rates are like the same in Korea, is my understanding, because the game's been out in Korea for about a year, or like 3 years now, and it just came out in the West. One very important note: North America and EU both play together. Interestingly enough, so you get to play with people from NA and EU, which is amazing for me because I have a community that spans across both, and that's really cool. Now look at these drop rates. Every time you pull, you have a 71% chance to get a common, a 27% chance to get an uncommon. A rare, a blue, is a 1.3% chance. To put this in perspective, I have an epic skin. Okay. 0.1% chance on that. I got it on like the third pull. I'll let Note edit it in here. It's literally, it was crazy. Sponsor carried. Well, at the time, they didn't even know what I want to be clear. It was not sponsor carried because they didn't even know what my account was named at the time. They didn't know what server I was on or what my account was named. I had just made it. I mean, chat watched me, right? And I just went in and I just pulled. It was like my third pull. Pulled it out. Boom. 0.1% chance. Nailed it. Pulled the epic straight out. The legendary is a 0.01%. So you see just how low a percent chance we're talking to pull like the epics out here. So you're like, well, how are you ever? Is there a pity system? That's a great question. No. There's not one. Like, it's literally insane. Okay, so the only way to really practically obtain epic and legendary skins is to do something called fusing. So like when you go into fusion, you can take duplicates of other skins that you've gotten and put 4 duplicates into a window here. I'll let Note edit in post. I'll let him edit in, like, look at the showing me doing it. But like you can basically put 4 skins in here, and then you have like a 20-ish% chance to get the next higher grade. But in order to start getting duplicates, you have to have at least one of everything as it is, right? So in order to have at least one of everything, you have to open a bunch of these packs. So eventually you get enough white ones that you start getting like green ones, right? You get enough green ones, you get all the green ones, then you start getting the blues, right? And it's kind of a grind to get one of every blue, and the blues are really rare, but you start fusing them, and eventually you start getting duplicates of the blues. And once you start getting duplicates of the blues, you can start fusing them to get the purples, and then again, you have to do it again to get to the legendaries. Eventually, you will be able to reach legendary skins without technically spending a dime, but it's gonna take a minute. It's gonna take a minute. So me pulling the epic out was actually pretty crazy. Actually pretty insane. The drop rates, in my opinion, are just a little bit too, it's not a little bit, like a lot too low. There's no pity system. In my opinion, that's a big L. Like I think that not only would they make more money, but it would be more in their favor. Like more beneficial to them to try and, or to give a pity system to that game. Now let's talk about a few of the systems. This game actually has more systems than some of the other games that I've played. I think it's got crafting, it's got gathering, it's got, again, PvE where it's got dungeons, it's got raids, although I don't think we have raids quite yet, but it's already in the Korean version, so we know we're gonna get them. It's got small scale PvP, it's got open world PvP, which is always on. It's got guilds that you could do that PvP with. It's got large scale PvP, so kind of like Siege in the other games, right? It's got more systems than even like a recent MMO that came out only for PC, like Throne and Liberty. It's got more systems than that does, right? Now, granted, again, you've got like the autoplay feature of it, and you're like, okay, well, how complex can it actually be? Well, the PvP, like I said, requires you to basically lock in a little bit. You're definitely going to have to focus. And again, since there's large scale PvP, even though it's a mobile game, you're going to find yourself joining voice to try to talk to your guild members during PvP, which is kind of an interesting thing for a mobile game. I've never seen that happen in a mobile game before, where you're trying to bring people together in voice. In fact, if we talk about guilds for a second, very impressively, if you open the guild menu, I made a guild. I'm on Asgard 7. I made a guild. So there's a guild chat that's out. You can see our guild is super active. If I scroll through here, everybody's basically been online like a few hours ago. There's nobody in the guild that's been offline for more than just a few hours or even minutes here. So like, really active guild. People are always asking for dungeon groups and stuff like that. We named the guild Migaloo. Interestingly enough, you can add guild tags to the guild. So naturally, I added the pay to win and Discord guild tag. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, you might as well. I thought it was pretty funny. And then our icon is a whale, and then it's the Migaloo guild, which is pretty funny in my opinion. It's pretty funny. Now, interestingly enough, you can actually link a Discord guild chat in your guild's chat. So you can click this and it will literally just open Discord so that you can talk to your guild in Discord or join voice or whatever, which is insane. We just figured this out not too long ago. And then, of course, they have the guild chat. They have various chats and stuff that ways to interact with other players in the game. But the guild system in the game is actually much more... It pushes you to join a guild much more quickly than a game like Black Desert Online or even a game like Guild Wars 2 does, especially even during the leveling experiences. They have events and stuff going on that, again, encourage you to be a part of a guild so that you can get more rewards and things like this, which I think is a good thing. At the core of every MMO is player interaction. How much are players going to have to interact with each other? And although you can play this game like 98% of the time AFK idle, at least some of the time when you do actively play the game, you can choose to play solo, or you can get together with your friends as much as you want, and you can socialize in that guild chat, which is really important. Now we're going to talk about a little bit of the negative with the guild. One of the things, I am most active in my chat wise, I'm most active in guild chat. And the biggest problem in the game's chat is the fact that every single word is censored. Basically everything is censored. I mean, shit, guys, even the word censored is censored. I mean, I don't even understand. Like bro, I type in the word dungeon and half of the word is censored. Everything is censored. I couldn't even get my name. My Blue Squadron is a capital I because they said it was like an illegal word. Like, I don't know if you just can't type the word blue or what it is, but like, at the end of the day, I will tell you right now, it's very difficult to type to your guild members in the game right now and interact with other players because, again, you're playing Mad Libs with all of their different, like, look how many this shits, bro. Like, you don't know what people are saying, man. Like, you straight up do not know what people are saying half the time. I had somebody ask me, like, hey, Blue, where are you? And I tried to type it out, and I get, like, 2 letters through. And, like, they're just supposed to guess where the hell I'm a part of. It's annoying. It's frustrating. And I think that if they want to have a guild, or, like, I think that they want to have a chat filter, it needs to be able to be toggled off. A lot of people are gonna be like, well, can you just toggle the chat feature off? No, you can't. There is no toggle for the chat feature, which again is a huge L in an online game that is supposed to be, it's supposed to be very much so like based on a community. It's an MMO. Player interaction, that's what you want. Well, the players can't interact with each other if they're trying to interpret Morse code because you've censored the chat so much they can't talk. It's a game for adults. You should allow people to turn the chat filter off. Anyway, I'm gonna give them that feedback because they sponsored me to play the game before. I'm gonna give them that. They asked if there's anything I could, like, feedback I could give them. That's one of the primary things that I think actually hurts the game is players' ability to interact. So yeah. Blade and Soul, you can toggle the filter. Well, in every MMO, you toggle the filter on and off. Throne and Liberty. Well, actually, I don't know if Throne you can, but BDO you can toggle it off. Blade and Soul you can toggle it off. Guild Wars 2 I think can be toggled off. So again, that's a big L. But overall, I did get a chance to do, at the end of the main story, you are going to get your first shot at doing a dungeon, which is pretty cool because it's just going to pair you with AI. And you get your first experience at, like, what autoplay in a dungeon looks like. I could not autoplay my way all the way through the dungeon, even with the AI. And a purple skin, which is like Giga at this level. Okay, I had to actually reposition and try to use my skills. So, like, I had to actually lock in and pay attention during it, which is pretty cool. I think the dungeons are kind of supposed to not, like, you could technically have your skills on autocast, but you're still gonna have to reposition and move around and stuff and try to kite mobs and whatnot as you go. So you can kind of use autoplay in the dungeon, but I think full AFK, it's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. At all. But either way, it makes you kind of come together as a guild. I found myself kind of logging in on the side and, like, dude, I'm over at, like, my parents' house and I have a break for a second. I look at my phone. They're like, hey, Blue, you want to bang out a dungeon? I'm like, sure. That's pretty cool. The fact that you can interact with people online that quickly like that, or you can just play solo for as long as you want, I think is also just a really cool feature of the game. I haven't gotten to try guild raids or anything like that because, again, they're not in the game quite yet. There should be large-scale PvP. I have not gotten to try the large-scale PvP yet. There are arenas, although I'm going to tell you right now, the arenas are not as cool as maybe you might think. My understanding of arenas, I have not tried these yet. My understanding of arenas is that you're fighting an AI version of somebody else's gear. So basically, it's going to put, if it were to simulate me fighting someone else in an arena, it's not going to be me, the player. It's going to be my avatar with this gear, and then it's going to do it for me, and then they have to fight that avatar version. And I think this is to help with instancing and stuff, and cause people to stop lagging and whatnot. I don't know. I find that less hype, and I don't really find that very interesting to me. I don't really like that. Battle for Valhalla, though, this is the large-scale PvP, which I find really interesting. I'm interested to try this out, and then maybe, like, the open world PvP turns on as you hit the second half of the main storyline. You get to Jotunheim in the main storyline. Well, let's take a look at that real quick. If I go to quests, yeah, so I'm on Jotunheim right now. Actually, I'm only 18% of the way through Jotunheim right now, but Midgard I'm at 75. Well, I basically blasted through all the main quests in Midgard, and then as you transfer over to Jotunheim, which is the second half of the main story, it tells you, it's like, hey, just so you're aware, PvP is on now. Okay, good luck, right? So, like, you can just walk around and people can kill you. So you have to be careful about where you go to do your auto grind and where you choose to grind. You can choose to grind at a lower tier spot where, like, okay, well, I can't be PvP'd here, but also I'm not getting as much EXP, or you can take the risk of doing it at a higher tier spot, right? Or your guild can just, like, try to lock down certain open world locations for their own benefit, which my understanding is that there's, like, There's like rewards for your guild for locking down certain areas of the world, kind of like Node Wars, or Rift and Boonstones in Throne and Liberty, or World versus World in Guild Wars 2. There are bonuses for that, but again, I have not explored that system very much because I'm still very much so. We're all still in the early aspects of the game. A lot of us still haven't finished the main story. We're still not at like level. Most people are not at level 60 yet. In fact, I don't even know if the server even has a level 60 quite yet. But yeah. So that's the guild systems and my thoughts on that stuff overall. There's a rune system as well. I forgot to talk about this. Rune system kind of like Throne of Liberty, where there's like a set effect going on, and then you have to level up your runes over time, and you have to pull those. There's RNG for that too. There's also a fusion system for that, like we talked about before as well, which is pretty cool. There's feats, which you can get, just get free stuff for kind of progressing. There's a lithograph system. It's not called lithograph, it's called item collection. But in Throne of Liberty, this is essentially the lithograph system where if you get some useless gear that you don't need, you can add it to your item collection system and then get like bonus rewards, like permanent stats on your character for just like turning in these pieces of gear at these enhancement levels. Which is pretty cool. So again, a long-term grindy style MMO. And then there's dailies that you can do for like the town. There's like town quests that you can do every day. These give you the crafting mats that you need for higher level gear. You also have chances at higher level gear while you do them as well, which is pretty cool. Just be careful with these as a wording, and this is going to be an L for the game. This is another con of the game. When it says that you're going to get blue gear here, I've been told by chat, and I have experienced this so far as well, you have a very low chance. It's not 1 in 5. When you finish a town quest, it'll basically have 5 cards on the screen. So it'll basically have 5 cards on the screen with all of the stuff covered, and you just have to choose one of the cards, and boom, you get whatever's behind that card. And you would think that it's going to be a 1 in 5 chance to get the blue gear. It is not, is my understanding. So I would highly recommend when you're doing these to do the ones that like you want the green stuff. You want to try to get the green stuff. Okay. The green stuff, like especially the crafting equipment, like this Yggdrasil and stuff. This is really good stuff. You want to go for like, even if they're lower level quests, sure, but like you really are trying to get the crafting mat so you can craft the blue gear, so that you can craft the purple gear, etc. later on, because you're going to need a lot of duplicates of the purple gear, right? I always select the middle. Hey man, whatever you got to do. Either way, it's a Korean MMO, so there's a lot of RNG involved. Now let's talk about the currency and the cash shop. It's Lucent. Okay, it's just like Lucent in Throne and Liberty in that this game is very pay to win. You can buy, there's a diamond currency and a gold currency, as you can see in the top right of my screen up here. The gold currency you obtain for just doing things in game, and honestly, you can get a lot of stuff with the gold currency, including like pulls and stuff. Like if I go to the summon tab here and I click on gold, you can get pulls and stuff each day. So like if I want to get this rune pull, I can go ahead and grab that real quick, and it'll open up a rune chest for me. Obviously, I didn't get anything good this time. Actually, I got a green rune. That's actually pretty good. It's a 30% chance. That's pretty good. That's kind of a W. So you can use gold on this stuff. You can buy HP potions and stuff with them too, which is pretty cool. But of course, you can buy diamonds. This is the premium currency, but it's also currency that you can obtain in-game through the trading shop. So you can buy as much of this as you want if you want to spend IRL dollars. Or if you open the trading post, you can just play the game. And when you get gear in the game, you can choose to sell it for diamonds on the marketplace here, essentially. So if you're a free-to-play player and you don't want to spend any money on the game, you can do that. You can get basically everything you need with diamonds for just selling the gear that you get in game. Like you can see, this is 60,000 diamonds, which is about $600 US or so for the one of the first pieces of purple gear on the whole server for that. But you can see again, even the blue gear gets kind of pricey in places here, and they're very rare. I'm sure that will decline over time, but that's kind of how the cash shop system works. Basically, you can spend as much money as you want, but you're gonna pay through the teeth for a lot of this gear. And I'm not sure why you would necessarily want to do that. You also get free dance emotes in the game as well. So again, this is like some Coomer shit, but like you can dance. Yeah, and my character, okay, yeah. So there's, yeah, so you can just kind of, yeah, there's 3 different dances you can do. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Fantastic Coomer MMO. Okay, fantastic. So, I think we've covered most of the stuff that I kind of wanted to cover here. I think that overall thoughts on the game. Would I recommend playing? Yes, I would 100% recommend playing it. Even when not being sponsored for the game. Again, dude, like my guild members can vouch, dude. You don't get... Like, people love this game, bro. I had to wait for 15 minutes just to get into the game today because there was a queue. That's how many people were playing today. Literally insane. And again, the guild is super active. There's a lot of people playing the game, and people are trying to buddy up for dungeons and whatnot. And I think it also helps that, again, people can play super inactively. So, like, it's not a game like Throne and Liberty or even Black Desert, or even Guild Wars 2, where, like, you have to be at the computer to do anything at all. You could just pull out your iPad in the middle of the airport and participate in PvP with your friends, which is really cool because, again, it's a long-term grind MMO. And I think it's something that a lot of people have wanted for a long time, where you have this super hot female character, a long-term grind Korean MMO that you can play even on mobile, or you can play it on PC like I am right now. And there are advantages to playing on PC for sure. It makes the active content definitely a little bit easier to do, but that doesn't mean you can't just do everything on mobile as it is. So I do strongly recommend this game for anybody that really likes MMOs. And again, I know the autoplay feature and the fact that it's a mobile game turned people off, but I actually think that, again, the autoplay is kind of a W because it's a mobile game and a PC game. I'm kind of encouraged to play the game more actively, or I could just play it as inactively as I wanted. So, like, if that's something that interests you, I do think that this is definitely a game worth picking up. And there's a lot of people currently playing this right now. I will warn you that if you do end up playing this game, do not spend a lot of money, as I said, on trying to get these pulls. Okay, it's not exactly worth it, in my opinion, to spend a crazy amount of money when the drop rates for this stuff is literally under 1%, right? It's just not practical. Okay, like, maybe you could spend a little bit of money if there's like a starter package maybe you want. You could try to go for a blue one, but for the most part, I think that when it comes down to avatars, they're gonna give you a really attractive avatar. Like right here, they're gonna give you a really attractive skin to wear, so you're not worried about looking like a hobo when you're running around. So you can apply whatever skin that you want, okay, over the top of whatever avatar you want. Keep in mind there's a difference between the two, and I didn't explain that before, but the avatar explains like what advantages you're getting from your skin, right? Or from that particular avatar, right? So if it's a purple grade, you're gonna get a lot more than if it's like a green grade, right? The number up good, right? But the skin, if you think that, like, if I thought that this skin looked better, I could wear this skin and still have the bonuses from my purple avatar. So, like, and again, you're just gonna get this stuff naturally playing the game anyway, so don't recommend doing a crazy amount of pulls like it's a gacha system, but I do recommend playing the game and getting involved in a guild. It's a super great way to get involved in it, in my opinion. But yeah, all of that are my genuine thoughts of the game. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments section down below. Again, please remember to try to put a like on the video if you did enjoy it or watched it all the way through. I really appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one.